Thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk why I'm so excited about local and why I believe that only mobile makes local really a big thing. I think with my speaker before me, you just got an idea of how big local commerce can be, but this is only a very small slice. And I would like to give you my view, my perspective on local and why I think that mobile is so important. So first of all, why mobile? Why do I believe that mobile is going to be the next really big wave in internet? And why I also do believe that local hasn't really picked up yet, although we just seen a different example of that. Having been co-founding CityDeal and heading Groupon in Europe for quite some time, I was a victim, or not a victim, I was able to see basically how powerful local commerce could be. And there's a lot of controversial about Groupon for good reason to some extent, but nevertheless there's one thing without any doubt that Groupon managed, and it was the first business that basically showed across 4 continents, across 50 countries, to 10,000 and 100,000 of local merchants how powerful online can be, and it showed them the first time how they can use internet and online on a big scale to improve their business, to win new customers, and to get their business going. So therefore, in course of Groupon, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people that look at local commerce started coming up with new ideas, thinking of how could I leverage the success of Groupon, how could I kind of ease the pain Groupon is at some point also bringing to local businesses. So a lot of new ventures came up. Very rarely of them had been really big so far. When you look at the big giants in the internet, looking at Groupon, still before they took the hit on their share price, it's still very tiny. There are a few others coming up with very nice and healthy valuations, but still, when you look at the space of local commerce, it's still very, very small. What I believe is not just that local commerce will be big, but I also believe that nowadays the gap between local commerce and the opportunity and between local consumers is even bigger. It's probably the biggest gap we see nowadays in the digital age. So let's see how big local is actually, or how big the potential. So looking at Germany, and this is very, very similar in all European markets, around 97% of the companies are local businesses, small and local businesses, and they represent about 43% of the German economy. So they really make up a big, big part of our economy. At the same time, all of us are local consumers. Any one of you is a local consumer. Around 75% of consumption, of entire consumption, is done locally, meaning within the radius of 5 kilometers. And 92% of consumers already start using internet for their local consumption. So to give an example, 92% of consumers have already searched online for restaurants. It's probably the biggest local sector that is already quite strong and present in online. But nevertheless, there is this huge group of local consumers that basically, and just think of yourself, that inform themselves online about where to go with friends, where to eat, what to do on your weekend, where to get the best deals locally, etc. So whatever you do when you think about local consumption, there's a good chance that you check it out on the internet. On the other hand, there are these 97% of businesses that rarely are able to use online and internet in order to get their business running. And the reason is, or the question is, why is that? And the answer is because these guys are usually one guy, maybe 2 or 3 guys, very small businesses, so they need very, very simple solutions. They're very passionate about what they do. They are great chefs, they are great hairdressers, great masseurs, whatever, but most of them are not very tech savvy, and most of them have no clue about internet and how to use it for the business. So they need very simple solutions, and that's where mobile comes in. Mobile is basically the first step that enables local consumers and local merchants to get together, and that enables local merchants to start using online for their business. It's still a big gap, but it's closing. The gap between When you look at, for example, restaurant search, to kind of stretch this example again, in the last 6 months in the US, 92% of these searches have been on the web, but already 81% had been on mobile. So the gap between web and mobile is slowly closing, but it's closing. And from a merchant perspective, it's also working. So 65% of mobile restaurant searches are already converted into an immediate action. That means people start calling the merchant, or they have the intent to purchase immediately within an hour. So there you have a very, very small delay between the search and the action itself, and you have a very high conversion, which shows it's working for both sides. On the other hand, when you think of mobile, it's probably the most obvious use case from a consumer perspective when you connect it with local consumption. So whenever you are around here on Hackischer Markt or anywhere else, you are hungry, you check out your mobile phone. There are tons of apps already that can show you what's the next restaurant, where's the next deal for a restaurant, etc. So you can search it and you can immediately go to action. So it's a very obvious use case. From a merchant perspective, mobile finally allowed him to have an infrastructure in his place that is affordable and easy to use and basically very easily scalable. So rarely a local merchant would have been able to put a big PC box into his local business, but now you're able to put a small tablet at an affordable price that is very easy to use, that even non-tech savvy local merchants can use, and he can start having an infrastructure, and on top of that infrastructure, many local commerce startups can leverage that and can start working with this infrastructure. So having shown Here you go. So having shown why I so strongly believe in local commerce on the one hand, and on the other hand why mobile is so important for local commerce, let me briefly talk about CRESS, the accelerator, probably the first accelerator only for local commerce that Philip and myself have founded, and why and how we try to leverage that. As I said, we've been with CityDeal co-founding it and with Groupon for some time. We've seen all these local merchants and their needs. And we've also seen what didn't went well with Groupon and how we could help them. So we decided we do something what we can do best. We focus on local commerce. We're not going to just invest, but we really help companies, help them building up. We found companies ourselves and not just support them financially in order to basically leverage the experience we got. And that brought us basically to a few portfolio companies over the last couple of months. And 3 of them I briefly want to mention just to show you how only mobile made these companies and these business model possible. So one is eCaBo, which we founded ourselves and invested from the beginning on. It's a modular POS solution for local businesses, especially for food and beverage, for wellness, beauty, leisure businesses. That basically allows the merchant, the local merchant, via software that runs on an app, on a tablet, to basically improve and make his business better along his entire value chain. It helps him to get new customers. It helps him to turn these customers into repeating customers. It helps him to make payments and to get loyal customers, to engage with customers, and to get basically his entire order management and his internal processes more efficient. What was the importance of mobile in this case? Well, due to the fact that there are affordable tablets out there, now we can basically sell or allow any local merchants to work with this local infrastructure that is affordable. Due to apps, we can come up with software and solutions that are very easy to use, even for local merchants, and it's highly scalable. A second example is MyDriver. It's basically a limousine service aggregator that on the one hand aggregates demand for limousine services, and on the other hand aggregates the huge supply that is very fragmented. On the limousine side, we have around 12,000 limousine services only in Germany. So we bring this together. By bringing it together, we are able to increase the utilization of limousines. They are able to bring down their prices, and we basically increase the entire market because people that haven't thought about using these services now start thinking about it because they get much cheaper. Why is mobile so important? Well, a few years ago, you would have been forced to do this via SMS or calls in order to inform about new and possible orders. Now every driver has a smartphone. He gets orders shipped or pushed on the smartphone. He accepts them or rejects them, and we can make a matchmaking almost real time. The third example is Skondo from our portfolio. Skondo is an app that basically allows FMCG brands to push directly to consumers discounts, promotions for consumer goods. As a consumer, you can buy this product in any channel, and you get your discount by making a scan of your receipt that then will basically result in a cashback on your account. So it's very easy to use. It's the first time that FMCG brands can really directly interact with consumers. And why is mobile so important? Well, because without a smartphone, without the app, you would never be able to easily, in a convenient way, scan the receipt, and therefore this model would have never worked. So these are only three examples out of our portfolio that show you how powerful mobile is, and that this is basically the enabler for local commerce. So be prepared to see tons of other startups and models that basically will leverage mobile to finally get local commerce launched. Thank you.
Yes, Daniel, thank you very much. eCaBo, MyDriver, and Skondo are really names to remember. Any questions from the audience? No? Just a feeling of Berlin and mobile. I know you're very involved in that city. Could you give us a temperature? I would believe only 10% of the audience is in Berlin, is located in Berlin. Is that the place to be?
For me and then for Cress and for Philip, definitely it's the place to be because, I mean, you have tons of startup entrepreneurs, you have a lot of talent, you have all the resources you need, you have all the skills you need, and you have a lot of people that you can exchange on a daily basis. And now, slowly, also the money comes, investors are here. So for us, it's definitely the place to be.
Okay. So thank you very much.